English grammar is built on a massive, highly predictable architecture, yet the words we use most often actively defy those rules. The modern English dictionary contains hundreds of thousands of verbs. For the vast majority, the past tense is predictable. Simply add ed to the end. But a specific cluster of roughly 180 to 200 verbs currently in active use exists outside of this system. If we look at the 50 most frequently used verbs in the entire language, words like say, make, go, and take, every single one is irregular. This subset carries enormous statistical weight. Mastering just these 50 verbs covers 87% of all irregular verb usage in daily conversation. Because they do not follow modern patterns, traditional education often treats them as anomalies, requiring rote memorization. Their overwhelming frequency suggests these words are not errors, but foundational pillars of the language operating on a much older system. To assist learners, educators usually group these verbs by their surface-level spelling patterns. Group 1 consists of verbs where the base form, past tense, and past participle are identical, like cost, cost, cost. This table outlines Group 2, where the past and past participle match but differ from the base word, as seen in sell, sold, sold. Within this group, root vowels often shorten or consonant endings alter, shifting lend to lent or send to sent. Then there is Group 3, where all three forms differ entirely, such as blow, blew, blown, or begin, began, begun. While these categories help with memorization, they are linguistically superficial. To find the actual logic behind these verbs, we must trace them back to the phonetic laws of Proto-Germanic languages. This search begins at the Old English bedrock. Proto-Germanic grammar was built on a strict division between strong and weak verbs. A strong verb never uses added suffixes to indicate the past tense. Instead of adding an ending, strong verbs communicate time by shifting their internal root vowel. The linguistic term for this vowel shift is ablaut, or vowel gradation. We still see this mechanism in modern English. We don't say singed, we say sang and sung. This historical mechanism accounts for the Group 3 verbs, where all forms differ. These survivors belong to 7 historical classes, each following predictable Old English vowel shift rules. These Group 3 irregulars are surviving strong verbs. They function not by random exception, but according to an ancient, highly structured internal coding system. That explains one set of survivors. The rest belong to the other half of the system, the weak verb. A weak verb forms the past tense by attaching a dental suffix, a d or t sound, to the end of the root. This weak paradigm explains the Group 2 irregulars, such as the verb keep. Keep is a weak verb that added a dental suffix, but over centuries of use, the internal vowel physically shortened in the mouth. Because the root ends with an unvoiced p, the suffix naturally shifted from a d to a t sound. Keep became kept. This same process explains the Group 1 irregulars, where all forms match, like cut or hit. These are weak verbs that already ended in a dental consonant, a t, in their base form. When a past tense t suffix was added to a word already ending in t, the sounds merged in a process called coalescence. These verbs aren't missing a past tense suffix. The suffix was physically absorbed by the root. Their identical forms are results of predictable phonetic convergence. If the strong verb system was so highly structured, why is it considered an exception today? Over centuries, English developed a massive preference for the mechanical predictability of weak verbs. As the English language evolved over time, hundreds of formerly strong verbs were regularized to fit the weak pattern. Consider the Old English strong verb helpen, which originally conjugated as help and holpen. By the 17th century, that strong form was losing ground, leaving us with the modern weak verb helped. Fossils of this system still appeared in the early 1600s. The King James Bible still used holpen as the past participle. The verb melt followed a similar path. It lost its strong past tense, leaving molten as a descriptive adjective rather than a verb form. Modern English has continued this trend. All new words entering the language automatically default to the weak paradigm. This dental suffix eventually became the default for nearly all English verbs, leaving the strong system as a shrinking remnant. This leaves one final question. How did any strong verbs survive this shift? In some cases, they were preserved by highly specific cultural rituals. The verb shrive survives today almost exclusively in its strong past tense, shrove, preserved by the holiday before Ash Wednesday. For the core 180 irregular verbs, survival was driven by usage velocity. The survivors, verbs like be, have, do, go, and say, are the most frequently spoken words in the language. This constant repetition ensures the archaic forms are reinforced before they can be regularized. Because we speak them so often, the community never forgets the original pattern. These irregular verbs remain as the most frequent and visible survivors of the English language's original ancient structure.